The Bitcoin reversal towards all-time highs is in effect right now. The bulls have the upper hand on Ethereum. How that translates to altcoins and the bottoming out of altcoin markets, it is very important. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's just jump into it. I want to start with some Bitcoin analysis. We're going to look at a quick macro view of Bitcoin, and then I just want to look at the short term. I want to talk about the path to break all-time high, what it could look like in the short term, and why we should all very simply and unemotionally probably just prepare for a bit of volatility, higher highs and higher lows. Let me start on the weekly chart. Real quick on the weekly. This is probably most meaningful for Bitcoin. The 20-week moving average right now, this is an area we've been watching for quite some time. We've made the move. There is now 2 days, 9 hours of the 20-week moving average. I don't want to harp on that too much, but what I do want to make a note of on the weekly, and then I'm going to really dive into the shorter term price action of Bitcoin right now, is two things. We have a very clear trend reversal. You can see on price breaking out of that yellow trend line, the lower high trend line, very similar to this consolidation back here. But I think more importantly so, if we want to get a view of Bitcoin momentum right now, look at the weekly. I'm definitely not the only one charting this, but this lower high momentum oscillator being broken historically for Bitcoin is a major indicator. It is something to pay attention to, and we are close to all-time high. Just look at this weekly chart. This is like a move away on this weekly chart. So this is a massive move. What I want to just say as we dive into the shorter term analysis of it is this, that moving average line. As we have Bitcoin where it is right now, let's see if Bitcoin kind of maybe has a little bit of a test at that moving average line. We had something similar happen back here as Bitcoin was kind of making its way out of all that consolidation right here and trying to break its way to all-time high. We're in a very similar area. On the short term, here's how it could play out. I have this little note here. We're looking for higher highs and higher lows away from the neckline. The inverse head and shoulders neckline, everybody, continues to be one of the most exciting patterns in all of crypto. We've tracked it for so long. We even tracked the throwback to the neckline. Now we're trying to escape it. We're trying to escape the neckline, meaning we really don't want to see it test again. In order for that to happen, what needs to happen is obviously Bitcoin just separating from it entirely, but it's the path of that happening. Historically, how price action on the shorter term plays out is the thing that we need to prepare for. And what I mean by that is, even if you just look back here, this is just such a helpful visual of a bottoming out in Bitcoin. Just all of the messiness, the choppiness, even when it's breaking out, you see the choppiness, the pullback to the moving averages. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So short-term resistance to the upside, if the bulls just straight up take charge, we have a lower high Fibonacci from all-time highs. So all-time high, swing low, Fibonacci channel right here. It's 101,000 to 95,000 where Bitcoin is right now. Anticipate resistance. If Bitcoin starts breaking through that area, I might have to start doing some live streams because that is a very bullish confirmation. If we get resistance, anticipate throwbacks to key moving averages. And in this regard, I'm really looking at the 20-day and the 50-day moving averages. So just don't be surprised if we're falling back into the upper 80s this weekend or early next week. Obviously, that's just one case. The other case to the upside is we're breaking through, testing maybe resistance at the Fibonacci. We're hovering in the 95 to 100,000, and then we're breaking up, right? We track all of these things, but I think namely what we want to see is the reversal. It doesn't matter if it looks like that, if it looks like this. We want to see the reversal towards all-time highs, and there's a lot to anticipate in terms of what that could look like. So if you're looking at the short term, that's why it's a good idea to just do this shorter term analysis. All in all, I don't know what will happen out there. Some high fear, crazy environment. Bitcoin's falling all the way back down. This neckline though, long story short, we want to escape it. We want to just say bye-bye to the neckline and head to the first neckline target out of the inverse head and shoulders, $130,000. Let's go look at Ethereum, and then I want to look at altcoins. Whales are buying massive amounts of Ethereum, and you can just see on this ETH inflow chart, look at that. Massive inflow for Ethereum. If you go back and you just very simply look at this on Ethereum, kind of a very similar, just massive accumulation, this was basically marking the beginning of the bottom. So the question is, are we just now marking the beginning of the bottom? Is there going to be kind of months of sideways 100% possible, but it's not a guarantee. One thing I want to really make a note of, and then we're going to dive into the Ethereum and altcoin bottoming out analysis. Bulls have the upper hand right now. This is a big deal for Ethereum, and this is a CCV intelligence indicator that we'll be launching to all you soon. Get on the list in the link below if you want to get special pricing for launch. But we have momentum oscillators, all these different oscillators really starting to flip for Ethereum. And this is so massive when it comes to Ethereum analysis that I'm about to show you, which is so important for altcoins. But I wanted to show you something. You notice how on the chart we have Ethereum bottoming out in terms of the bull-bear arena, the bull-bear fight. You see the fight, you see the struggle. The bulls losing for the most part for months. Now we're pivoting out. If you go back here to September, August, a very similar picture on this chart. And you can see we started to exit in September, but it wasn't the end of that struggle. We needed to see the higher highs and higher lows on this bull-bear chart. But ultimately, the breakout from all of that struggle led to the breakout for Ethereum right here, November, and the breakout for altcoins. So right now, this breakout, though we might kind of see higher highs and higher lows, this could be a huge signal. This is a shorter term signal, by the way, right? This isn't a macro signal, but it's very good to see that bulls have the upper hand in terms of Ethereum. All of our indicators here are, they're not all bullish. That's why we don't see bulls have full control. There's still some neutral. So there's a battle going on right now, but you can see what we're watching for is the bottoming out of Ethereum. And for me, I've been very much watching the pullback to this triangle. I want to see this become a busted pattern, this massive multi-year symmetrical triangle, a busted pattern. We pull back to the apex and boom, bull market for altcoins. That's what I want to see. M2 global liquidity is signaling the potential for the move. Look at that. You see that liquidity, 108-day lead time on the daily. If we get this pullback, it will be so fun to track what happens at the apex, what happens at resistance at like $2,800. I will be tracking that on Ethereum, but altcoins, look at the monthly on altcoin charts. It's very simple, everybody. Go back. There was no type of moving average back here in 2015, but if you're looking at the monthly chart for altcoins, look at these high fear environments for altcoins on the monthly. Obviously, kind of right below the 50-month moving average, right at the 50-month moving average. But right here's the 2018 tariff fear, right? Sound familiar? Here's the COVID fear. We just entered a very similar record-breaking fear. And I'm talking about when you're looking at the S&P 500 volatility index, the fear on that chart was in the realm of these two bottoms. And now look at this on altcoin charts. How can you not be bullish on crypto right now? I mean, I respect it. I respect it if you're bearish. But when I'm looking at this data, I am so bullish that the only thing that I can think of is what is going to happen and how am I prepared if this line gets broken because this bottom indicator holds true, similar to what happened here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on altcoins. But if you go to the weekly chart, we get a sense of just where we are in terms of how much upside. So let me explain. If you look at these two circles now in the weekly, check out the oscillator, slower moving momentum oscillator. So here's COVID, that high fear, crazy environment. Get basically the RSI getting down to around 37. Where did we just bottom? Around 37. Now there is hurdles for altcoins, and you see them immediately where they are trading right now. That is the 50-week moving average. The 20-week moving average is around $1.2 trillion market cap. But from where we are right now, that's about, a 14-15% move. So if altcoins start breaking towards that area, the question I will be monitoring for an altcoin bull market, or at least the beginning of it, would be, are we seeing massive resistance there? Or are we starting to close candles above there? And what I mean by that is this. Here's coming out of COVID. There was a little bit of resistance for like a month at the moving averages, but then we started getting separation. I am paying very close attention to this now that I'm talking about this and looking at this because, again, I need to change this to the daily chart, but we have M2 Global Liquidity Index overlay. Are you ready for something like this? I don't know. I need to be ready. And that's why I'm doing this analysis. I'm just sharing it with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Things are getting exciting, and I appreciate all of you on the crypto journey with me. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Hit the link below. Get on the intelligence platform waiting list, special pricing, MVP coming very soon. And if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.